The revolution is upon us. The future of physical music is in our hands. Join the fight. This is the WaxCast.
Welcome to the WaxCast. It's all going to go really well today, tech-wise.
I hope so.
I really hope so.
Let's see.
If you're joining us on Facebook, thank you so much. This is what we call Two Fat Guys Talk About Vinyl, also known as the WaxCast. So
I just want to point out I've already messed up in this thing. And
Did
you'll
you?
see it later.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fine. All right, that's all right. That's right. But thank you so much for the WaxCast. This is our weekly series where we talk about anything vinyl-related, vinyl industry-related.
What is this? Week number 4? And we've been
diligent.
We've been sticking to it so far.
All right. Yeah. So if you're joining us on Facebook Live, thank you so much. We're glad you're here. And if you're listening on YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, hey, we're glad you're listening. So thanks so much for being part of this. You can subscribe. You know that, right? There's ways of doing it.
They can subscribe?
They can. It's awesome. I don't know how to do it, but people who download podcasts know how to do that.
Yeah. So find one of them, I guess.
Yeah. So talk to your friends. But thank you so much for joining us. We don't have a special guest tonight because, well, there's a lot of reasons we don't have a special guest tonight.
We might have gotten a little lazy.
No. We don't need to always have a special guest, but
no, we like to just talk every now and then.
Well, and this is something this is kind of how we used to do it, and people like to hear us banter. I think so. Well, we'll always tell ourselves that.
Do you? I mean, if you do, go ahead and feel free to comment or show us some love.
But thanks again for joining us. Now that we've done introductions for at least the last 5 minutes, we'll see you next week. No, I'm kidding.
8 to 12 minutes. That's what we're sticking at.
That's right. So today we want to talk about what we thought is a prevalent issue in the vinyl community.
Yeah. Something
we've seen more and more of.
A lot more of. It's definitely becoming a more common thing. I'm still not quite sure how I feel about them quite yet, but
yeah. So what we're talking about today is what we like to call the hybrid record store. Oh, it's so awesome. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can see a nice graphic now. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So hybrid record stores, it's the Milwaukee Cup.
Milwaukee, that's Algonquin for the good land.
Yeah, 10 points if you get that reference. So hybrid record stores are something we've seen for a few years now.
Yeah, definitely. As we've been going through these trips more and more, we've definitely been seeing them a lot more and more these past recent years. And like I said, I'm still not quite sure how I feel about them yet. I don't know if I like them or if or if they're distracting. I don't know.
Well, but before we jump into our opinions, and we always have plenty of
always have opinions.
Let's talk exactly what is a hybrid record store. And before we get going too far, if you're on Facebook and you want to ask us a question while we're talking, go and just drop it in the comments because we would love to talk to you more about that. And it keeps the conversation moving. Yeah.
You got a lot of things going on.
There's a lot of movement. Yeah. I'm getting the extra calories burnt up. So there we go. So hybrid record stores. What are hybrid record stores, Andy?
Well, the best way that I can say it is it's a combination of 2 or more things with the focal point being the independent record store.
Yeah.
That would be the ideal goal with the hybrid record store.
Yes. And we see more and more hybrid record stores are record stores that are primarily that are part one business and part another business. And we've seen hybrid record stores that are part record store, part juice bar.
Yeah, part record store, part coffee shop, which is a more popular one.
Part art space, part live venue, part record store.
We've seen skateboard shops mixed in with
head shops and things like that.
Everything, hybrid, multi,
I think we got to be very clear here. One thing I wanted to stress before we got into this is we don't consider record stores that sell something else just in addition to their product to be, quote, hybrid. I think every record store on the planet sells something music related.
Yeah, something music related. Well, even knickknacks and whatnot, so depending on your location, you will try and appeal to the tourists that come by. Knickknacks, all that kind of stuff. So so when it comes to those little items, those are still independent record stores.
Yeah, I don't consider those hybrid. So if you're selling guitar picks, guitar strings, even tchotchkes, greeting cards, things like that.
Yeah.
Little things, I don't deem that hybrid.
No, not at all.
Your focus is still record store.
Exactly.
But we're seeing more and more every year of these stores that are doing things like, hey, we are half record shop, half coffee shop.
Yeah.
And not to say they're bad. We have good friends who run them.
Don't get me wrong. I love drinking coffee while I'm looking through some records.
I like drinking beer. I like drinking beer doing anything.
Yeah, that's just good.
But there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the idea, but there is stuff wrong with it.
Okay, so here's my big issue.
Before you get that, we have a question.
Okay,
look, we have a question.
What do we got? Oh, look at this.
Hey, look, we got a question from our friend Caitlin, and she says, "Andy, read that because I'm blind."
All right, me too. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Okay, Caitlin Barnaby says, would they be specified as a record store, or do they just happen to sell records too?
Oh, Caitlin gave us the $10,000 question.
Yeah.
See, thank you, Caitlin, for everything. You've been a wonderful supporter for a very long time.
Thank you very much.
We love you. But that's the problem, and I think that's what it comes down to. I'm struggling with this. Let me tell you. Let me back up the train about 2 steps here. I'm not answering this. I'll get to the answer to this question here. So I'm going to back up the train just a step here. There are some communities, especially smaller communities, that cannot support a full independent record store and just record store
on its own.
There are some communities that can't. They're smaller, and in that regard, to make ends meet, they have to incorporate something like a coffee shop,
correct,
a brewery, an art space, what have you.
Yeah.
And I think anytime that you can promote the vinyl format, no matter what it takes, it's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
I think we can't be hard on hybrid record stores because they are, in fact, still promoting the format.
Yes.
And it's tough to criticize, especially in those communities that can't support. Let's admit it. Mm-hmm. There are communities that cannot support an independent record store.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're smaller, or the collector community is not there, and that's okay. And in that regard, I get it. I understand it.
And I'll agree with you on that one. I can totally understand that, where you have to have that coexistence of whether it be multiple owners sharing a same space because the rent's too high, and they have to do that in order to get this one space. I understand there needing to be a coexistence when it comes to that kind of stuff. The issue that I run into this might be going a little bit off topic. Okay, so your question, Caitlin, would they be specified as a record store, or do they just happen to sell records too? When it comes to a hybrid store, they need to be extremely careful. If they're going to call themselves a record store, they need to make sure that the records are what is prominent.
Exactly.
Now, the issue comes when the other business, if that's how you want to look at it, whether it be the coffee shop or the juice shop, when that becomes the majority and the records are just kind of tossed in the background up against a wall, there might be a couple over there sitting behind the lunch table or whatever.
Yeah.
That's when I start having an issue, and I no longer look at that as a record shop. I look at that as a coffee shop or a juice shop with some record novelties on the wall.
Exactly. And we've seen both. I mean, and we've seen it work in both spaces. I'll give you an example. Music Millennium in Portland had a huge Kickstarter and opened up like a beer and wine tasting section.
Yep.
It occupied a small portion of their shop, and it was just subsidiary to their record store. And they're a hell of a record store. And here's where I think it's easy to draw the line. And we talked about this in Texas.
Yeah.
If you walk into a store and you got to be able to say one or two things. Is this a coffee shop with some records, or is this a record store with some coffee in it?
Yeah.
And if whatever it is overpowering the records, you're not a record store.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember where it was, but I know that there was a store somewhere where we walked into it, and the first thing we said were, "Where are the records?" That's not a record store.
Yeah, just because you have a bin of records doesn't make you a record store.
Yeah,
I mean, it really doesn't. And that's, I understand that it's cool and it's novelty and it's fun and it's hip for a lot of businesses to have records now. Yeah. We're seeing a lot of like tasting rooms, like whiskey and bars, and we're seeing those incorporate vinyl into them. You're not a record store.
You're not a record store, but thank you for promoting the format.
I'm all for it.
But don't call yourself a record
You're
store.
not a record store. Period. All right, let's take that question off.
All right.
So that is the truth. And that's my frustration. And there's nothing wrong with these, but choose your identity.
Yeah.
And that if you want to be a coffee shop with some records, awesome.
Yeah.
I want everything with records. I want to go get my hair cut and listen to records. I want to,
yeah.
I want to go to my son's daycare and there's a turntable there. I want to
shoot. If I'm getting a mani and pedi while going through the record store, great.
You get mani and pedi.
Hey, don't judge, man.
I will judge. I've spent the last 6 years judging you. So, but no, I'm okay with anything incorporating vinyl. It's a cool aesthetic. It's a cool thing to have.
Absolutely.
But you're not a record store just because you have records.
Yeah.
Record stores sell records, and you can have other little things.
Yeah.
And again, we have friends. We have dear friends of our website. We love you to pieces
Yeah.
who operate in those spaces, and we get it. But you're either a coffee shop with some records, or you're a record store
or with some coffee.
With some coffee in it. And that's cool.
Yeah.
I think now here's a question we got to tackle.
Yeah.
Is this the future of record stores?
It kind of comes back to what you said though. It just depends on your location and the need/want for the record store in that community. Is this the future of record stores? Can I answer that right now?
I hope not.
I hope not.
God, I hope not.
I hope not, because when these hybrid stores, you lose so much of that atmosphere and that experience with just regular independent record stores.
Took the words out of my mouth.
That whole experience, it just goes away when you've got a coffee barista over there, foaming milk for the latte or whatever. I don't know coffees. I only drink black.
Yeah.
But you lose that experience when you got the.
I think anybody if you follow our website, there's a cool vibe in independent record stores. I mean, and there's a vibe in independent record stores that you couldn't even get in like the big corporate record stores. There is a vibe.
It's just something special, just something unique. It's just its own.
And every element that you introduce into that environment will take away from that vibe. And I think that in the end that will deteriorate.
Yeah.
Is it the future? I'm going to say no, but I can see why it's so prevalent right now. I hate to say it's a greed thing.
I don't want to say that it's the future of record stores. It will be in the future. There's always going to be that need for the hybrid stores, and I can respect that as long as the record store is the focal point.
Yeah. I'm not against the idea. But it's
it's a touchy subject.
Again, I think you're right. Hybrid stores will be in the future. Yeah, that's not in debate here. But I think if the reason you're doing the hybrid has to also be the right reason. Yeah. Again, we talked about it earlier. There are communities that need a hybrid store.
Yeah.
That's the only way they're going to survive.
Yeah.
And then, but if it's just a matter of, and we've talked to a lot of them, I sell coffee or juice because the profit margins are better. Then you're a coffee shop and a juice bar. Yeah. With some records.
Yeah. Shut the record store down.
No. Keep the records there. I'm all for it, but
it gets diminished. That's where my issue comes into it. The records get diminished and forgotten.
So, well, listen, lots of love to hybrid stores. You're filling a need, and I get that.
Don't get me wrong, please. I do appreciate hybrid stores when it is necessary.
And that being said, there are some that don't hide that fact. Hey, we're a juice bar with some records. Cool.
Great.
You're straight up about that.
Great.
If you're Mike's Juice and Records, cool.
Yeah. Great.
That's what you are. And I'm good with that. And props to you for keeping the format out there.
Yeah.
But you're not a record store.
Yeah.
So that's our opinion,
that's it.
Which is worth about not much.
Zero.
So, zilch. But you know whose opinion does matter? Yours. We love you. The vinyl community is awesome. And are we gonna wrap it up here?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Let's wrap it up here.
I'm tired.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here, but this is a weekly thing. Wednesday night, 7:00.
Yeah.
Mountain Standard Time. We do the WaxCast. And it's live here on Facebook. We got YouTube, and we also
go to our website.
Go to our website. Is it working? Oh, there it is. There it is. See? Go to getinonvinyl.com where you can watch the archives of this, and also subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher, all that. But
I wasn't going to bring it up.
We don't Snapchat.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
Ever. Okay. We'll see you next week, vinyl community. Oh, if you want to be are you part of the vinyl community?
Oh, duh.
Are you part of the vinyl community? Are you an Instagram vinyl star? Are you
independent artist, independent label, record, music related?
Do you own a shop? Do you run a distribution? Are you just a big time collector and want to talk about your collection? We want to talk to you. You are the vinyl community. And so get in touch with us. It's not that hard. Go to that website, GetOutVinyl.com. Somewhere on there has a way of getting in touch with us.
It's gone through multiple times.
Like 47 times.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
All right. See you guys.